Hello and welcome to today's Brand Breakthrough Show. We are going live talking about how do you take your personal brand and your business brand and how do you make them all fit together, because you probably got some products that you're getting in there as well. So you've got your product brand to also bring into mix, you've got your services brands to bring into the mix. So how do you make all of that work together and also attract the ideal customers that you want, even if you've got different sources of programs, different streams of customers. So Zara, hello. So yes, we did go live yesterday, but it seems that it didn't actually stream it. So I was talking to myself, wondering where everyone was, and thought it was actually live. It said it was live, but it wasn't. So today I'm doing exactly the same thing again. So this is your second opportunity to come and ask your questions about this topic. John, hello. It's good to see you. Finally, we're live. We're live. I'm getting the interaction. You know, it was so funny when I was live last night and I'm chatting away, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking, you know, it's really unusual. Usually I have people that are coming on and at least saying hello, if not engaging. So you now have another opportunity to come in and ask me your questions. So let's take this for an example, John. This is great that you're on the call, because you know, when you're building more than one business, especially, you know, it becomes even more important about your personal brand and who you are in the whole myriad of building different businesses, especially if you're a serial entrepreneur. So Zara, it's so long since I've seen you. Hi, Kevin. Hello, we're live. Yay. Almost need a little drum roll. So, you know, when you, Zara, it's so long since I've seen you, so I'm not quite sure what you're up to now. If you could put a little comment in the box to let me know what are you up to these days, it would be fabulous. And you never know when you share that, who else might be on this Brand Breakthrough show today that might say, I need that, or I need to talk to you. So this is an opportunity for it to be very interactive. The more that you type in the comments as I'm talking, the more engagement that you give me, the more questions you give me, the more help you are getting. So you know, do what Zara's doing actually, and just pop a little comment in there about what it is that you are building. Now, as I was just mentioning with John, John's got several businesses and is a very entrepreneurial guy. If I'm sure that you maybe don't talk about yourself in that way potentially, but you are. So John has got an amazingly successful business. It's more corporate than consumer. But then there's a product that John is looking at partnering with. John, I hope you don't mind me talking about this. I'm not going to talk about the actual business itself, but you know, I'm keeping it as big chunk as possible. If you give me a thumbs up, if that's okay. So John's also having a discussion with somebody else. Now that product will be aimed at consumers, but also has another product that we've been talking about within the Brand Builders Club. So John has just joined the Brand Builders Club. So I'll give a big round of applause, John. Welcome to the family. And that's the product that John's going to be using to go through the Brand Builders Club process. So, you know, if you are like John and you've got several things as well, Kevin, I know, for example, you've got a business where you're consulting to clients. So there's a very corporate strategy that goes with that. But then at the same time, there's the opportunity to work with entrepreneurs with this amazing knowledge that you have in your head. So there's various ways that you can really get that brand out there, making a difference. Thank you, John. You know, you're really making a difference, and you know, you matter. What you're delivering matters, and what you're doing really makes a difference to the lives you touch. Heather, hello. I was just literally came off of a call with Heather straight onto here. So Heather, how this can relate to you is that you've got this incredible business. You are consulting. You've got some brilliant services. Cindy, hello. Where you're really making a difference to love relationships. You know, I mean, how many people, we were just talking about this a little while ago, how many millions of people there are in the world that without even going into a love relationship are already affected by the relationship they had with their father or with their brother or with their mum or their family, and they're carrying that into absolutely every relationship they go through, and then wondering, you know, what's wrong with me? Well, it's not that there's something wrong with you. There's just something wrong with some of the beliefs that you have. And that's where Heather steps in, and she can shift that. And if you're going through a relationship where it's just traumatic, you know, Heather also supports with getting involved in that conscious uncoupling. So, you know, the breakups don't always need to be absolutely horrendous. And I'm not going to ask you all to put your hand up, but I'm pretty sure every single person that's on this call has been through one of those. You know, and it's kind of, you know, with the skills to be able to end that relationship gracefully and to really be in your spiritual authority, I guess, your spiritual alignment, then it makes a massive difference. Sheila, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Sending love to you and Chris. Again, like Sheila, so, you know, as I'm seeing you pop up on here, I really want to recognize you and the businesses that I know of. I mean, Sheila, gosh, Sheila and Chris. Sheila, how many years ago was it that we worked on your branding and your website and everything? This was when I had my agency many, many years ago. Must be about 6, maybe even 7 years ago. You know, I mean, gosh, they have an amazing translations company. Well, every single one of you are building something that's going to need to go global at some point. And so Sheila and her husband Chris, I don't know if that's what you're still doing, Sheila, so give me a thumbs up if you are, translating. So if you've got a book, if you've got a workbook, if you create a social media channel that's specific to another country, and your book is going to be translated into different languages, or maybe your blog, maybe you're looking to do that. Well, that's exactly what Sheila and her husband Chris were doing. I'm not quite sure if they do that anymore, but that's what they were doing. So Cindy, I'm not quite sure what you're up to these days. I mean, we've all watched your most amazing transition to come through cancer, and you know, like the amazing journey that you've taken. I mean, you're so inspiring. But again, each and every one of you, you're building something so completely different, and yet there's a theme that runs through everything that you're building. And you don't need to have a business to have a brand, because you are a walking, talking, living, breathing, eating, sleeping brand. What you do makes a difference. What you don't do makes a difference. Both of those things are the way they impact on your brand. And if you're building several businesses at the same time, or exiting one idea to go into another one, then it just, you know, you might end up with conflicting brand management. I talked at the weekend, I spoke at Dario Pucci's Ultimate Entrepreneur event, which is brilliant. Get yourself onto the next one. I think he's doing the next one in March. And it was 2 days of just solid strategies of, you know, you're already great, you're already brilliant at what you do, but how do you become ultimate at what you're doing? And so I spoke on both days at the summit, and one of the things I was talking about was Netflix as an example. So give me a thumbs up if you know of Netflix. I think that you probably do know of Netflix, but maybe you don't know about Quickster. Quickster was a brand, I believe it was around 2014, that Netflix set up in competition with itself. I'm not sure it actually meant to do that. I think it meant to create a sub-brand, a sister brand as such. But instead of thinking about, you know, stepping into the future and thinking about how the two could expand together, or if this was a sub brand of Netflix, then how would it work? But they didn't. They ended up launching Quickster. And Quickster was meant to be the digital version of Netflix, which at that time, it was a subscription, but they were delivering things in a different way. Well, everything's online now. And you know, when you think about it, you know, how, like, who's heard of Quickster? Like, give me a thumbs down if you have never heard of Quickster before, because every audience, if I ever mention this brand, they all say no, never heard of it. And it's because it really flopped. And there were 3 things that they did really, really badly. And I definitely don't want you to do that as you're thinking, you know, how do I build my personal brand, my corporate brand, my products brands? So I really want you to avoid this brandalism, right? And so the first thing that they did really badly was they didn't think about their existing customer base. They didn't think, you know, if I'm going to start promoting this new product or service, how is that going to impact on my existing customers? So, for example, Kevin, as you're working with your corporate clients, and then you're creating like an, you know, because the corporate clients are probably going to want you to go in there and actually deliver something for them or consult to them so that they know what they're doing, or provide the actual technology for them. On the other hand, you've got the entrepreneurs and the business owners, small business owners, who want you to tell them what to do so that they can go away and do it. So it's a very different customer and a very different price point that you can charge for those 2 different audiences. The same for you, John. You know, you've got your company where you're providing massive contracts and you're delivering on massive projects. But then if you're going to create something, you know, we were talking about the spiral dynamics and that not being your business, but that could be a part of what you're doing, and bringing that in as a mix to something else that you're doing to create a global movement. Well, that's very different. And so a corporate client might look at, hang on a minute, I'm seeing John talking about all of these things recently. Does that mean I'm not his client anymore? We better start looking somewhere else. So you don't want to get into that challenge where you're doing what Netflix did with Quickster. And so that was the first thing they did wrong, was they didn't survey their existing client base to find out, you know, was this new idea something that would interest them? Because actually they might have been able to bolt it onto the existing service. As a result of not doing that, they lost. Now, how many of you, before I tell you what they lost, how many of you have ever sent an email or tried to build your email list? Like you've created something of value and you want people to sign up for it so that you get their name and email. Give me a thumbs up if that's you, right? Or a yes, yes, yes. Now let's look at this, right? So that you've got that person to sign up for your emails. That's level one. That's kind of first base, right? But then you've managed to get them to sign up as a customer and pay you £10 a month as a minimum, right? So now they're paying you £10 a month. Imagine how much work that takes to get even one subscriber onto your product or service. If you've ever built a product or service that's a subscription, you'll know what it takes. Thank you, John. You'll know what it takes to build up that list. So imagine how painful it would be when 400,000 of your subscribers just jump ship because of brandalism. Not because the product wasn't great, not because they didn't want the product anymore, but because the clients were so confused when they saw this Quickster. I don't get it. Well, why am I paying for this? If I can have that, then why am I paying for this? The problem was people then unsubscribed from that, but because of the brand damage that was done, they then didn't subscribe to Quickster, the new thing. So they unsubscribed, it didn't subscribe to the new thing. So if a conversation had been had with those clients, then they probably would have kept all their clients, but also they could have got some kind of referral fee or an introduction to, you know, another 400,000 subscribers. If 400,000 people just went and told one person about your product or service, you know, you're in business big time. But they didn't. And so, you know, really think about that as you're building your brand. With each product and service that you're launching, think about the relationship that you already have with your existing customers, and is what you're about to start about a lot, is it going to collaborate with the offer that you're already delivering to them, or is it going to compete, or could step into their shoes and think from their point of view, would it compete? Because you don't want to get into that position where you have, you know, this competition between your own brand. I mean, it's crazy. Heather, I so love what you're doing and that you really get what I'm doing too. Bless you. Thank you. Barbara, hello. Oh, wow, Barbara, it's good to see you here. I don't know how to thumbs down. Okay. All right. Well, you gave me a smiley face, but that's good. You told me you were giving me a thumbs down anyway, John. Thank you. So if you think about that, right, you don't want to be hemorrhaging those customers that you've built so much trust currency with, and it makes such a difference when you just, you know, survey and get them involved. Heather and I were just having this exact conversation. I was just going through doing her vision, mission, and we were looking at her values and things like that as she's going through the 7-step brand Kickstarter within the Brand Builders Club. And we're talking about, you know, what does this actually mean? And let's go up to the higher value. And what does this mean? And what does this mean? And we were looking at the values part of it, and one of the values, I said, well, does this mean this? And she said, oh yeah, like my customers say that to me all the time. That's what it means. It's this, which leads to this, which leads to this. It's like, so then if your ideal customers are saying it, then use it, because they're obviously giving you that feedback. Thing is, and here's what I also said to Heather, I hope you don't mind me sharing, Heather, was that you know, that kind of feedback is brilliant as long as it's coming from customers that you want. If you're getting feedback from people who you think, yeah, it's been nice working with you, but hasta la vista, Like, their opinion doesn't count too much, but if the opinion of people who you've worked with, you love working with, and that, you know, there's a really good exchange of energy there, they pay you on time, they pay you what you're worth, you know, what is it that makes a good client for you? You want to be going to those people and asking them, doing that sense checking on those, because it does make a difference when you're asking the right people. Christine, hello. Oh, Christine, send us a picture of your hair. Christine was going to get her hair done earlier. So I love this. I get to find out all these things that all our brand builders are going through. Tia is one of our newest Brand Builders Club members. Actually, John, I think you and Tia joined around the same time. Tia's in London. John is in Manchester. And just brilliant. You're both joining at the same time. Now, Tia, oh my gosh, if you're not connected with Tia, make sure you connect with her. Like, connect with her straight right now. Like, click on her name and do the whole friend request thing, right? She's amazing, and her life story is so incredible. And, you know, just what she's bringing into the mix that's going to I mean, the transformation that people and families are going to experience as a result of her stories and her inspirations is really quite tremendous. Now, Tia, you're going through the 7-step Kickstarter. I'm hearing all about it from Yoka. I know Yoka's working closely with you. I just want to give a shout out to Yoka, actually. I am in her house right now. Yoka is looking after me. She's nurturing me while I'm in London, so that I can be with you, right? I can't do what I do without these amazing, amazing people packing my parachute. And I hope that we can be packing your parachutes, that you can be out there doing that. You know, we want to give you roots and give you wings. That's what we want to do. So Tia, you know, again, like, you're building a highly personal brand because you're wanting to step onto stages, you're wanting to create your products, your programs, get out there, you know, really have your brand touch millions and millions of lives. And when you start to do that, you want to start surveying the newest customers that are coming on board, so you can sense check that you're on the right track and ask them what they want next, because then you'll never create anything that they don't want to buy from you. So here's what I'd really encourage you, all of you, to do, is to think about the customers that you've already had. You know, even if they haven't paid you yet, think about the people that you've already connected with or you've already been working with that you'd actually love to work with again, and take it on that next step of the journey and talk to them about your vision of what it is that you're building. So within step 4 of the 7-step brand Kickstarter, one of the things that I encourage you to do is to think about what is the program or the vision of the business that you really want to build, or the next phase of what you want to build, and get in contact with key people of influence who are not competing with you, but that are serving the same audience as you. Because when you contact them and you say, you know, look, I really appreciate and value your opinion. I respect you so much, and I would really appreciate if you'd be willing to give me 15 minutes of your time to hear out and be my sounding board for an idea that I'm really thinking about doing. You know, and I really would respect your opinion if you could tell me, like, is this something that's going to go somewhere? Do you think it's good? It's like, I want your honest feedback. And they'll come back to you. They always say yes. They always say yes. They might say, I'd love to, can't do it until next month. Not everybody comes back and says, yeah, I can speak to you today or tomorrow. But by doing that and then getting that idea in front of them, 9 times out of 10, they say to you, I love it. Here's what I would do to tweak it. Or, you know, I don't know that's going to work, but if you did it like this, I've seen someone else do that really successfully. I mean, how valuable is that? You're getting that feedback. And quite often what happens is they either say, I'm interested in that myself, so when you launch it, let me know, or I've got tons of clients that need that, or I know someone that would really benefit from that. Heather was just telling me a story while we were having a Zoom call, and I said, oh my God, I know someone immediately that you need to talk to. Let's work out a strategy for how I can connect you so that you can work your magic, because, you know, this person kind of knows that they're not living their best life with the relationships they're attracting, and they need to do something differently. But obviously I don't want to go in there and say, listen, I'm going to send someone your way because I don't want you to have another shite relationship ever again, right? There's got to be a strategy for that. But only by actually talking to people who have influence can you really test the idea and work out, you know, is this something that's going to fly? And who do you know that I could that you could introduce me to that might also be able to help me with this journey? So, you know, thinking about that. I can't see her. Oh, Tia. Well, if you go into the Brand Builders Club, click on members, and you'll find Tia in there. John, sorry to be so rubbish at this. After all, I'm only a software engineer, but I can't see Tia. Don't worry. John, you're in the Brand Builders Club as well. So if you go in, do what I've just said to Christine, click on members, go into the Facebook group. You don't have to go onto the online learning center, not for this, although you can go in there and follow her there too. But Tia, make sure you share your website or your Facebook page and see how it's going. Sydney, hello. Tia is similar to my vision then, changing families' lives, very much so. You know what I really, really like, what juices me so much about the Brand Builders Club is the amount of partnerships and collaborations that are created. You know, it really is a sounding board, and I actually, it's not just me that's giving you roots and giving you wings. It's like, you know, I guess I'm giving you the roots and the community so that together we can give you those wings. It's no fun doing things on your own, so why try and do that the hard way? Christine, oh, it's just like we discussed this morning. Absolutely, you know, getting it out there. John, I am spelling Tia right. Still can't see her in members. She is. If you click on members, it should be TIA. So yes, she is in there. Don't worry. I'll connect you with her if you can't find her. Let me see if it'll let me tag her. It might not let me do that. No, it's not letting me do that while I'm live. So I will make sure that I connect you. Or let Tia put some shout out in the club so you can all get to know her. Seriously, there's so many connections and collaborations. In fact, John is doing an experiment right now, working out, like, you know, how are the biggest thought leaders in our world really thinking? Like, how can you tell who's going to be a thought leader and who's going to be a thought follower as such? And John did he actually did it on our entire family. And we were, I mean, it was just so surprising when John sat down and explained through this process. We were able to go, oh my God, that's why Jen does what she does. That's why I do what I do. And that's, you know, James was like, oh, so you and I can communicate much better with each other if we just did this. So reach out to John. You know, it's not his main business, but it is something that he's working with somebody else, another different thing, you know, which is really about working out who these thought leaders are. Who are the change makers? If you're a change maker, or you think you might be, if you're a closet change maker, connect with John, because there might be a way that he can confirm that for you. So let's have a look. All right, John's got her. Sydney, it's so good to see you, Sydney. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. That's why, because it hasn't got the accents. I guess if you don't type the accents in, it might not find them. That would be why. Thank you for, I learned something new today as well. So let's get back on track with this branding side of things. So yeah, you know, if you think about Netflix, that was their first mistake, was not including their clients, their ideal clients. The second mistake that they made was that when they decided on the name for Quickster, they didn't do a test first to just sense check, like, is there anybody else in the world that is using this name, and is there a negative impact with what they're doing? And, you know, if you're going into corporate organizations, the last thing you want is for them to Google you and associate you with something that's negative. Well, that's what Quickster did. They went and got all the all of the social media handles and the domain names, but what they failed to realize was that the person that had the Quickster Twitter handle was a pot smoking, you know, drug dealer that was basically, you know, all he was talking about was marijuana all over his Twitter page. And so I don't know if they've removed it now or if they've done something about it, but, you know, they went live and then people were Googling him and they were not seeing the stuff that they really wanted to see. So, you know, there's some instances where you can get away with that. You know, you can use negative publicity. I was talking to somebody this morning about negative publicity and how you can really turn that into your friend. but you know, you don't want somebody to own that Twitter handle or that social media network, because then you really don't have much chance at all with that. Christine, right, I'm going to have to dash, as the amazing Stephen Conway has just tried to call me. Yeah, I know, Stephen has actually messaged me, and he said, can I call Christine? He's obviously seen you post something, so he wants to make sure you're okay. Just try to call it. We'll catch up on this call after. Big loves, and I look forward to connecting again. You are welcome. You know, like I say, we've all got your back. So Christine, I know that sometimes things aren't, you know, for all of us, sometimes things aren't going exactly how you want them to, and that's why we're here. That's exactly why we're here. And I love the fact that Stephen has texted me while I'm on this call and said, we need to call Christine. You know, we've all got each other's back. Isn't that so powerful? So the third thing that that Netflix did really, really badly was that they then started arguing with communications. And you never ever want to do that. The last thing you want to do is that. So, you know, and this actually reminds me of Amy's Bakery. Do any of you remember Amy's Bakery? It was about 6 years ago, maybe. And Amy's Bakery is a place in America. And apparently their service and their food and all this, it wasn't great. And so they created they had this Facebook page, and loads of people were going to the Facebook page to complain, and put it, you know, on you know, review sites and things. And so instead of like just being gracious with their communication and saying, you know, how can we put this right? And then that's the key thing, right? It's not you doing, it's not you know, doing something wrong. It's how you turn that into, you know, it's how you put it right that really makes a difference. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. Like last night I was there, blah, 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 chatting away to myself, and it had the little live button on there, and you know, I'm chatting, and I'm thinking, gosh, there's no one on here tonight. And it turns out that it didn't actually broadcast, but I didn't know that it wasn't broadcasting because I was in the middle of broadcasting. So it wasn't until today James messaged me and he said, did you go live last night? Yeah. Well, Kevin said that you weren't live, and when I've gone into the thing, actually I've seen that Rihanna and John and Kevin were there, and you weren't there, and like they're saying they couldn't see you or whatever. I was like, well, I was live, and then I went in and I tried to find it. I couldn't find it either. You know, so it's like, okay, well, how can I put this right? You know, I can either say, sorry guys, you missed out, you know, or I can say, do you know what? I was there to give you value, and I want to make sure you get that value, and I will keep turning up until you get that value. So I'm going to be live at 5 again tonight, right? So it's how you put things right. That is the difference. That's your brand, right? And you don't have to have a business for you to be constant, to deliver on your promises and to be delivering on that credibility. If something goes wrong, it's like, how are you delivering it, and how fast are you turning that around? And then how are you communicating about, you know, the mess up, or how you can put it right. So Amy's Bakery didn't do that. Instead, the owner of Amy's Bakery went onto the page, and not only, you know, it wasn't even like a tough shit kind of thing. It was, you're an asshole, don't ever come into my bakery again. You know, if you walk through my front door, I'm going to take one of my buns and I'm going to shove it where the sun don't shine. I mean, it wasn't even like just horrible. It was tragic. But as a result of that, Camellia, hello, Neil, it's good to see you. As a result of that, right, people were flooding to Amy's Bakery to go and see how bad it was. It was like, you know, they were almost then priding themselves on being the worst bakery in the world. And you knew that if you went and put something on their page, you were just going to get abused. And people were doing it to get the abuse. And they became really famous for really bad service and being the worst bakery in the world. I mean, like, this is just, doesn't it blow your mind? But that's what it can do, right? They say that no publicity or was it they say no publicity is bad publicity. So, I mean, isn't that so funny? Absolutely. Seth Godin sneezes that tell everyone else how wonderful you are. Thanks, John. You know, I mean, it's just so powerful, isn't it? So there are three things that they did really bad. I mean, I don't advise that you go and follow that Amy's Bakery strategy, because it worked for a short period of time, but then they closed down. I think, you know, it's like, how long can that actually last for? So if you're building a movement on one hand, but then you've also got this corporate side to you on the other hand, or you want to build a business where you can exit it later, then you can't build yourself too much into that brand. So often I have people that say, like we had one at the Thinkubator in Bristol a couple of weeks ago, and this guy is an amazing health and fitness expert, building a lifestyle business effectively, but not as in he's helping other people to build to live a lifestyle that they want in a healthy way. And you know, and so the name of the business and the product that he was creating is his name. And I said, okay, well, and he only wanted to know, you know, what should I call this thing? Because at the moment I've called it this. You know, just with a few questions such as, you know, is there ever a time in the future that you can see that you won't be the only person that is out in the world delivering this product or service? And he said, yes. I said, okay, so are you planning to certify or license your knowledge in a way that you can turn that into products? Or, you know, if you've got a membership website, for example, and you could partner with other people in your industry, you know, much like we do with the Brand Builders Club, we're looking to partner with branding experts, marketing consultants, business coaches, you know, people who don't want to go through 2.5 years of hassle that we have to build the enormous system that we have. Why try and compete when actually we've already got the technology in place now? Talk to us about how your clients can be also using that technology. And you know, so it's really powerful when you have that conversation. But if you don't think about collaborating and you're just going to build this thing and it dies with you when you die, no problem. Call it your name. You know, if you are a baker, you're trading on your personal brand. It's very unlikely you're going to go anywhere, right? So that, you know, you're going to have staff, of course you are, but they're going to be selling your products. They're not going to be selling their products as you or as a mini-me as you of you. Which you're doing if you are going to license or certify. You've got other people that will be out there selling it as if it's their own. So in that case, I said to him, you know, I really wouldn't advise that you have your personal name in this at all. You can be the thought leader and the celebrity behind this business. But if you think, you know, let's say for example, I'll put it that way. Say, for example, you know, this is your business. Got some earrings in here. This is your business. Then, you know, you've got you as the celebrity. Let's do that so you can't see it. You've got you as the celebrity that's poking up out the top there. You're the thought leader, the ambassador. You're the go-to expert. You're the person that people are inviting to speak on stage. You're the one that's bringing the opportunities into the business. So you need to be the most trusted, credible leader that sits behind this business. And whether you are going to build that business and sell it, or you know, if it's all it's doing is selling a product, doesn't matter. You can be the person behind the business and you can really put the focus on the business, and then the business has a brand. But if you're going to create something where you step into the future, when you look into your crystal ball and you step into the future and you think, actually, if there's any part of your gut instinct that says there might be a chance that what I create, somebody else might be going and selling that within their business, then you need to create that brand, the celebrity brand, the personal brand. You need to create your business brand, and it needs to be named something that is suggestive of the result that you get for people. You know, long gone are the days where you could just call it something random. I mean, you can do that, but then you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of marketing pounds, dollars, or euros to drive people to it. Well, why would you want to do that? If you call it something that people are actually searching for or using in their language every day, then they're going to find you easier. You know, you're going to show up naturally in an organic way. You're not going to have to spend all that money and energy into advertising so much. So then you've got your business brand, but then you've got your products and services underneath each one of those that are also their own individual brand. So, you know, really think about stepping into the future. You know, where's your brand going to land? And if you can see that it's only ever going to be you, then you can put your name in there, no problem. But if it's going to be other people that could be in the future, then, you know, it'll be company name founded by you. You know, it'll be like, I don't know, I don't necessarily resonate with the brand, but Action Coach and Brad Sugars, right? So Action Coach is a franchise that he's set up. Well, you don't need to franchise necessarily to have that same model. You could be licensing, or you could do what we do. We've put leadership teams in place within the Brand Builders Club, and those leadership teams are looking after our members. You know, so there's different ways that you could be really growing your brand. But if, like I say, just step out into the future and have a good old rummage around. Oops, crazy Amy. Yeah. Sydney, great to see you. Oh my God, the Amy's Bakery thing was crazy. You remember that? It was really crazy. I mean, you might even like Google Amy's Bakery and see if it still comes out. That was just hilarious. So so unless you've got any questions, do you have any questions that you want to ask me about your brand, or how should you you know, what should be your next step, or where do you go from here? If you ask them in the comments here, just as we start to wrap up here, I'll keep an eye on the comments. You know, where are you in your brand building journey? And, you know, are you building a personal brand, or are you building a corporate brand? I think it's important for you, Kevin, especially, that because you've got the corporate angle and you've got the potential entrepreneurial angle as well, it might be worth you having your website for the corporates, but maybe having a landing page. It doesn't have to be another whole website. It could be a microsite as such, you know, just a landing page that shows up for the entrepreneurial side of things as well. You know, the entrepreneurs don't want to find you for the corporate side of things, because it's a totally different love language that you'll be using. There's totally different words in corporate than there are in the entrepreneurial world, as you know. But also, if the corporates Google you and they find that, you know, or they find your website and they look at it and it's like, okay, well, hang on, you're charging us, you know, tens of thousands for this, but we can see that these smaller businesses, they're getting that. You know, what's the price disparity in that? You know, it's too much it's too, you know, they talk about price elasticity. That's like brand elasticity. That's it's just too much of a stretch. So you might find yourself in trouble for that. Now I've got something very exciting that's coming up, that's starting on Friday, that you will definitely want to be a part of, and I'd love for you to share it with everybody. I'm going to announce it tomorrow, so I might even announce it tonight. It all depends if I can get it set up in time. I'm going to create an Eventbrite page, and it's for a 14-day summit that I'm going to hold, that's starting on Friday. I'm going to go live at 5 p.m. every day. And I'm going to be going live with the speakers and thought leaders that are behind the Vision, Voice and Visibility Summit that we're running in December. So the actual summit itself, if you want to come and play physically and you haven't got your ticket yet, talk to me, because I'm inviting people personally. This isn't something that we've promoted yet, okay? But we're going to be launching that within the summit that we're doing. But I'm going to run this summit as a little challenge. So if you just want to come and hear from the experts every day, drop in for an hour of power at 5 p.m. every day, starting on Friday. So when does that finish? I've got all the details here. So it starts on Friday, 8th of November, and we finish on Tuesday, the 21st of November. So you can drop in and hear from an expert every single day. You're going to want to do that anyway. But if you'd also like to do a little bit of get shit done on this particular topic, then I'll also be giving you something to do every day. So 8 a.m. every morning, London time. So whatever London time is for you, wherever you are in the world, you can join me at 8 a.m. if you want to do a get shit done with me, and get an activity that you can put in place in your business to really support you with that growth. And you can join me then at 5 as well. So it's totally up to you how much or how little you get involved in it. The more you do, obviously, the faster you're going to accelerate when we go into the new year, because that's why I want to do it now. I want to get you up to speed with how to go into that new year feeling really satisfied that you ended this year on a high. So the name of this challenge stroke summit is called Confessions of a Global Movement Maker. So give me a thumbs up if you like the name of that. Confessions of a Global Movement Maker. 14 things we wish we'd known before we started growing our global businesses. So I'll just talk about this a little bit if you do want to join me, so you know what it's about. So here's what I've written. This is what's going to go on the event page. Join me over the next 14 days along with 14 other global movement makers who I've brought together because over many dinners, many dinners, late night chats and glasses of wine, it's become glaringly obvious that each of us has been through what has felt like hell and back at many points along our business growth journeys. If you've ever experienced that feeling, give me a thumbs up so I know I'm not alone here. It's not all been sunshine and roses, as you might believe from what you see on social media. Every leader is fighting a battle behind the gloss of the likes and shares, and we've learned way too much the hard way not to share with you what is in store for you as you grow. What we've all learned for sure is that whilst business isn't easy, it certainly doesn't need to be as hard as we sometimes make it. If we can pay it forward with our knowledge to support you in making the next steps of your journey much easier than you're finding it right now, then we will do so with great pleasure. The things that we're going to so vulnerably share with you over the 14 days starting on Friday are things that you should be prepared for as you continue onto this next stage of your business growth journey in 2020. We want to prepare you in plenty of time to go into the new year with a resilient and robust business growth strategy that's ready to scale so that you can experience exponential growth. Exponential, I put my teeth back in, exponential growth without the burnout, fear, frustration, and overwhelm that can take grip on you easily if you're not prepared for it. And you know me, I love to give great prizes for those people that really participate in my challenges and summits. So every single speaker will be giving a great prize away. You want to be going through that. So like I say, it starts on Friday, and you are going to be hearing from, let me go across to here. We've got Jamie Gilliland, my business partner in the States. She's the membership monetizer. She's absolutely fantastic, got great ideas around building your brand online, creating sustainable income and repeatable, relentless income is what she loves, and exponential income. She loves helping you to create that. But she's going to be talking about her journey, and oh my gosh, like her journey is really crazy. And if there's any part of you that's thinking, I don't think I can do this, or this is too overwhelming, or I'm not sure I'm built to be an entrepreneur or whatever, right? Like, listen to her story, and she'll share with you some of the things that she's been through to get where she is. And I don't want to give too much away. So you'll hear from Jamie. You're going to hear from Keith Leoness. He is the publishing prophetizer. He's not actually going to be talking about publishing at the summit or during this 14-day challenge summit. He's got some really incredible journeys that he's been through, and I really want you to learn from him as well. He's interviewed pretty much all of the top thought leaders that we're listening to on podcasts right now, and as a result of that, he's learned so many things he's going to share with you. We've got Woon Tan, who is the podcasting professional. If you're wanting to podcast, he is your guy, but he's also come through a lot of things to get to the level where he's at right now. So he's going to share some great stuff with you. We've got Gosha Gorna, who is the fear liberator. She is, we were talking about it today actually, and she was saying, what do you think will add the most value as we go through this process? And I said, in fact, I was talking to Heather earlier about this same thing. I said, I hear so much about entrepreneurs and business owners having a fear of success, a fear of failure, a fear of being seen, fear of judgment. There's all these fears that come up, but the biggest fear, I think, of all for everybody that actually kind of overshadows all of those, and they think that they're the fears that they actually have, but really what's behind that, or even above that, is the fear of how much things need to change for you to have done what you want to do. And there's so many people I meet, including myself, that have thought, oh my God, but I don't want to be like such and such who's doing all of that. I want to be here with my family and living my best life, doing what I'm doing. I don't want to do that, but I do want to achieve the life impact of being able to support all those people or make that difference to their lives. So it's very interesting, this whole kind of fear around, what needs to change. I'm worried about how life will change if I do that, or when I do that. And so, gosh, she's going to be talking about that. We're going to go through that. We've got Daniel Holenko. He's the sovereign leader. Him and his girlfriend, Christina, are amazing. They've traveled the world. They've worked with all these amazing leaders. And what they've worked out is, how can you take all of the like wealth dynamics, Myers-Briggs, all of these, spiral dynamics, all of these profiles, how do you take that, but then also create the leadership angle from that, so that you can be the sovereign leader, the one that's really doing it all for the right reasons? And how do you do that in a way that is commanding massive respect, but is still in spiritual authority with your path and where you want to go? So Daniel's going to be talking about that. Lubna Zaro, she's the exponential hero creator, absolutely brilliant. She supports people to create more fun, flow, and freedom in their life. So as you are building what you're building and scaling what you're scaling, it's about not leaving yourself behind. And I've learned that way too often, especially when I burned out back in 2013, pretty much lost everything. Did I lose everything? No, I actually walked away from everything. But it's kind of the same. The feeling feels the same. The grief that hits you feels the same, and so it's kind of, quite mad when you think about, well, how do you get that fun, flow, and freedom into your life when you're on a mission and there's already not enough hours in the day? How can you create more time where you're doing things in an aligned way? And so Lubna's going to be talking about that. We've got Gail Edwards. She's the personal brand maximizer. I've touched on a tiny little bit of personal brand this evening. She is like the effing boom of personal branding. Gail's going to be talking about her experience and things that she's seen, and big mistakes that she's seen other people make, as well as mistakes that she has made in her own business as she's been building her personal brand. We've also got Bob Doyle from The Secret. He is going to be featured on one of these days as well. I think we might put Bob as towards the end, because he really sums up all of the things that have been happening for all of us, especially being on The Secret, how all of a sudden he went from a thought leader to being thrust into the spotlight of one of the world's greatest phenomenons in the personal development world universe. And he really, like, we talk about feeling like you're going to hell and back. He's probably done that journey around, the universe to hell and back quite a number of times. And he's going to share with you what it was like to be on The Secret and go through that. Really, really powerful. Got Paul Dunn as well. Paul Dunn from B1G1. Who loves Paul? Who knows Paul already? Paul spoke at our conference last year. In fact, Bob's going to be our MC for all 3 days of the conference. He's flying in from Vegas to be there, and he's got his lovely, beautiful girlfriend, Tracy, who's going to be coming with him. And they've set up an amazing business. They're working at a really high level with people who have got disposable income and want to create really beautiful spaces that get you in flow. So actually, him and Daniel would be great to partner on those side of things. In fact, quite a lot of our speakers would be great partners. Anyway, getting back to Paul Dunn. So Paul Dunn, through his B1G1 or Buy One Give One business, him and his wife Masami Sato have impacted on, well, the last time I spoke to him, it was about 191 million lives as a result of corporate sponsorship, effectively. And corporate investment. And so he's spoken on the same stages that Steve Jobs has spoken on. He's constantly traveling around the world. He's making a big difference, and has also made some big mistakes as he's made those differences. And so he's going to share those with you. I've got some surprise guests as well. I've got Cheryl Bass, she's going to be one of our apprentice judges at the Vision, Voice and Visibility Summit. We have 3 judges, so we're putting together a special team. And so we've got Cheryl Bass. Cheryl she's really like the queen of personal development and business development in Wales. She, like everyone in Wales, knows her, especially in the women's business development area. So, you know, she is also a dragon. She set up her own Dragon's Den in Wales. I'm speaking at her event in Cardiff in a few weeks. You know, and she's absolutely fantastic. So Cheryl is also going to be talking about what she's come through to be the Dragon of Wales. Like, how do you really step up and become that? How do you deal with that and that kind of fame as well? And also, she's become this local celebrity, but not because she's just the most seen. She's become a local celebrity because she's been the biggest contributor to business, to awards in business. She runs awards too. She runs massive events as well. You know, and if that's experience that you'd like to learn from, then you should definitely learn from Cheryl. And there's 2 surprise guests who I'm actually talking to right now. They have said yes. I'm not going to announce their names just yet. It's a husband and wife team. This husband and wife team are, I mean, like, I've wanted them to be my mentors easily 7 to 8 years. Like, I've watched their journey, and you know, there's not many people that I look up to and go, oh my God, like I need to be like, as soon as you do anything where you're going to mentor other people to do it, I want you mentoring me. And it just so happens that about 4 months ago, they reached out to me and said, we've been watching what you've been doing, and you know, you're on a very similar path to the one that we made some massive mistakes in, and they're no longer in that business, but they said, we'd love to take you under our wing and support you to build this in a way that we support our clients. And I was like, oh my God, yes, please. So I'm now part of a mastermind with them, and that, oh my God, you know, that the change in just myself, in my resilience and my faith in what I'm doing is just extraordinary. And they're going to be part of this too. So I can't wait for you to learn from these people. They've trodden the path that you are on. They've been there. They've experienced the ugly cries and the snot bubbles and all those things that they've been through. And, you know, it's stuff that you might go through as you are building the brand that you want to see in the world. And I don't want it to be hard for you. You know, I don't want you to go, oh, well, I didn't know what I didn't know. But if we can support you in knowing that and making that difference to your life, then, you know, my drop has just made a ripple effect that means that you'll go out there and do that for many, many more lives and businesses as well. So I'm definitely on path for doing that. So I'll be going live at 8 a.m. in this group. I am going to send you all a link. Watch out for, we're going to put some promotions in here, because you can go through it and not sign up to it. Of course you can, because we're going to do it. Actually, we're not going to do it in this group. I lie. I'll promote it in this group. We've got another group. It's a global change makers group. So if you're a change maker that wants to do something more global, you know, there are people in this group who just want to do some local stuff and want to make a difference in their local town. That's, you know, by all means, you're welcome to come and join it. But we are going to be thinking more globally. This summit is really about you taking that next step, stepping into that oh fuck zone, really, because that's where all the opportunity is, and we want to support you as you go there. So come across into the other group that I've set up. It'll all be with the Eventbrite link. So if you go to Eventbrite when I put it out there, click on the link, sign up for it, so that we make sure that you receive everything that you should as you go through it. And yeah, we'll make that difference for you. Be that different. Oh, you like the name Sydney? That's good. Hi, Greg. Hello, Lavinia. Jamie's on board. Hello. Please send me the link to that. Yes. Heather, I don't think I've ever heard you swear in my life so far. I'm loving that. So yeah, if you're ready for the Oh Fuck Zone, which is where all the opportunity is, come across and join us on this challenge, and you'll get to hear that, like, we are all saying that every single day of our lives. In fact, I say that quite a lot throughout every single day. You know, every time I connect with somebody and they say yes to me, there's still this part of me that goes, oh, fuck. There's still that part of me that does that. You know, there's still this childhood or childish, like, wonderment, because, you know, I'm like, wow, somebody really gets my vision and they want to be a part of that. So yes, look out for that. And for those of you that are in the Brand Builders Club, make sure, if you want me to work on your messaging, if you want some support, some advice, some feedback, if you want to sense check anything, you're like, I want to know what my brand colors are, I want to, you know, I just want to test out my vision statement with you, or I've got this opportunity coming up, what should I do? We're going to jump on Zoom. So those of you that are in the Brand Builders Club, go into the Brand Builders Club in the next 10 minutes. I will post the link. Although you guys have all got the link, it's the same masterclass link that we use every week. So I will see you live on Zoom. So we'll be doing that on Zoom so that you can then, I can unmute you and we can have a two-way conversation, and other people can then jump in and give you their feedback as well. So so I will see you shortly. Definitely send you the link, Sydney. I will make sure that I do that. And oh gosh, I'm so delighted that we're on this journey together. It really lights my heart up. You make it so easy for me to be in love with what I do. I just want to thank you for that. You are all brilliant change makers. And yeah, we're on this journey together. You give me my roots and you give me my wings as much as I want to support you in getting yours. So take care. Have a wonderful evening. For those of you that I'll see on Friday for the start of the challenge, and for those of you that are in the Brand Builders Club that want to come and do some extra work tonight, I'll be going live at 7. So take care, and I will see you there. Mwah!